Thank you so much for joining us.
No worries.
So, just tell us a little bit about what market trends you're seeing at the moment.
Okay, so currently now the market trends we're seeing is that we are seeing a little bit of a correction in the marketplace, especially in the top end if you're looking to make a purchase. Anything above the 1.8 to 2 or $2.5 million is a visible sign of a little bit of a correction there. So buyers, they're just not out in mass purchasing homes like that. So look, the trend though in general though, we are seeing the good standard blocks of 700 square metres, 750 with a good 17 metre frontage. They're still selling well, provided they're flat. So buyers are being more selective now. So that's what we're seeing in the marketplace today.
In your business, what accomplishments are you most proud of this year?
Accomplishment we're most proud of, there was 2 sales that we made over in an area called Notting Hill. And there was the highest residential sale of the suburb, and that's a big feat for us because not many records are made in this market. But although that's the highest residential sale, and also it's a good example of where the market's heading. It's that once upon a time this block they were trying to sell together, but now we partitioned the blocks and then we sold them individually, and then we sold them subsequently for very strong prices.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What areas are you seeing the most growth in, and what do you think you've done to achieve these?
Yeah, look, I think the growth in, especially if we look at Mount Waverley, there are areas that are now outside of the zone which are seeing stronger growth. Back when the marketplace was strong in 2015 and 16, you'd see growth predominantly in the zones, so in the actual Mount Waverley school zones, Glen Waverley school zones. But I'm seeing a large growth in outside of zone areas now because people are now seeing value in position outside in terms of feng shui, views, that type of thing. It's no longer just about the zones anymore because the zone was a big thing amongst immigrant fueled buyers.
And in your business, what areas are you sort of seeing the most growth?
So the areas that are most growth, I would say Burwood, certainly say is a big area. The other area I would look at is the east side of Mount Waverley. That's a big part. Surprisingly, we're seeing bits of Ashwood grow as well. Wheelers Hill has always grown, and that's a steady growth. So those areas there, and you'll notice those that are on the fringes of where we are, have started to grow slightly, especially areas leaning towards Mulgrave too. You can definitely see their better values there.
What's been your most memorable listing?
So the most memorable listing, I would say, is a listing we had over in Walter Street in Glen Waverley. And so that was a big 2-storey home. And at that time there was a newish style home, and buyers came in, a lot of buyers came through, but there was a very selective style property because it was very quirky. But we subsequently sold that for a good $150 before, more than what the owner wanted.
Fantastic, but they were happy with that.
They were happy with that. They were certainly happy with that.
What do you think vendors are looking for when they're selecting an agent?
So I reckon today that the vendors are looking for us, because the vendors and the buyers too are very much more informed now. So we're no longer the keepers of information. So if you look at it from that perspective, the vendors know what to expect. So I think what an agent's looking for, the vendors are looking for now, is they're looking for someone they can first trust, they can connect with, they can openly speak to during the campaign. So if you start off on that basis, and the last thing I feel is that they need someone who can hold their hand through this market, because they know too that the marketplace is correcting, and so they want to know some genuine advice on what the best thing is to move forward. So someone who can lead them, but also be open. And I think that's really crucial in this marketplace. If you have an ability to differentiate the home well too, that would work well.
What's a tip that you have for achieving the best price for a vendor?
Okay, the tip I would say is when you first bought the home, call it 10, 20 or how many years ago, what did you like about the home? What connected you about that home? Tell your agent that. And tell your agent, look, the reason why I like this home was because it's L-shaped lounge dining, or the deck out the back, or just the kitchen, or whatever it happens to be. You make sure you tell that, because there's a strong chance the next buyer's going to like the same thing. There's a real strong chance of that.
What market do you operate in, and what do you expect from your market over the next 6 months?
So over the next 6 months, I'd say the marketplace is going to, like I said, it is going to correct a little bit. What do I expect of it? It will stay stable for the remainder of this year. Early next year we don't know, but I'd say for the remainder of this year it will stay stable. I will see an emergence of the downsizer market though. So people who are coming from large parcels of land and looking for something smaller, I'm seeing that market really grow. So things like townhouses, easy to maintain, single level, I will see an emergence in that market within the next 6 months.
Okay. And why is now a good time for buyers and sellers?
So buyers in general, it's a good time to buy because there's a lot to choose. So there's much to choose from in our area anyway. So I'd say that based on that fact, it's a great time to buy. For sellers, you'll find the periods where it used to be slow, i.e. winter, end of year, where it's perceived to be not a good time to sell, will be a good time to sell now. Because there's a lot to choose, there will still be a similar amount of buyers in the marketplace during those periods. So if you're going to put the home on the market, I reckon during those periods of winter, end of year will still fare well, not just spring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marketing a property is obviously so very important for a vendor to have a successful sale.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that is?
Well, marketing now, it's got to be tweaked today to sell the appointment. I think, like in our business, is that we make sure that our agents understand that we are trying to sell the appointment so they meet the agent. So marketing has been a crucial thing because it's become so advanced. Photos, floor plans, you can see a lot of this online. So the buyers are very tempted to make the decision at home. So you need to tweak marketing in such a way that an appointment is booked so they speak to the agent so you can get an inspection. But that's why it's so important.
What's your goal for every vendor marketing campaign that you run?
Okay, so the goal, I think, less is more for marketing. So, and when I say less is more, is we want to be able to generate as many inspections as we can based on that marketing. And so after that comes, we can then get an emotional decision from whoever the buyer is. But yeah, our absolute goal is to get as many people through onto the property, but also get a sense of where the home stands upon the marketplace too.
How have you generated the most interest in a property and what marketing did you use?
So we use certainly internet, realestate.com, domains and all the rest of it. So the websites there we certainly use, and that's been a big pillar of it. Also, in addition to that, that has to go side in side with the paper as well, because we find a lot of people, although they look on the paper, they'll look on the internet. If they look on the internet, they look on the paper too. So that's been a big thing. We also find parts of our buyers, our marketplace today, a lot of the buyers will come locally. So making sure you market locally within the area, and now contact buyers agents. So contacting buyers agents to find that one buyer who they're willing to push to a certain degree.
Do you place the same importance in advertising your own brand as well to get a competitive advantage and also increase market share and listings?
Yeah, for sure. So certainly we support realestate.com. We bought banners as well. We advertised in local papers, Waverley Leader. So we've been big advocates of that. We advertise train stations. We advertise through mail outs. We've spent a fair sum on getting promotions out there, but certainly local advertising, internet, paperback, and also good word of mouth. And I think that's a big thing in which you do the right thing, and they say, the guys there, they do the right thing, and that's been a big form of advertising for us. 46
of the top 50 advertisers in Australia use print advertising. Why do you think that is?
I would say it's because that it's a medium where it's popular amongst people who understand paperback, but also that the Waverley Leader and the Chronicle, they're tools which support other things, and you get a more emotion-based buyer. Internet's always been an intellectual buyer, so like a very statistical buyer. But emotion-based buyers, and sometimes buyers who pay the best prices, come from the paper.
News Corp and realestate.com.au often talk about print and digital being more effective advertising combination than in isolation. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I certainly think so, because as I know Tom Panos says, is that your home is not on the market in isolation. It's in competition with others. So you need to make sure it's part of the mediums where the competition is abundant. So if you've got the good agent and you've taken some good photos and you've marketed the property well, you've got some good pointers about it, you need to make sure they're on these mediums. And then once they're on the right mediums, the home will emerge and sell well.
8 out of 10 home buyers use their local newspaper during their move, mainly to get a sense of their new community. How important is local area marketing to you?
Local area has been hugely important. So we did 4 out of 4 auctions last weekend. So we did 4 auctions. And interestingly, when I was doing the auction, you could see a lot of people holding the paper. So bits of the paper, the Waverley Leader and the Chronicle and so forth. So you can understand, look, they've been around, or they've been to a coffee shop down the road. And so you understand that this is all local marketing, and that's a huge thing.
Thank you so much, Hugh, for speaking to us. It's been great to chat to you today.
Great to chat with you.